Alright, let's give it another run. Gonna go down the cavern. We're gonna go the opposite direction this time. We went left, we're gonna go right. You go right, you can go left. You're gonna go north, you can go south. We're gonna do the opposite. Welcome to the Dark Shrine. Adol will attempt to kill a god. So what have we, so far in the East Tales, what have we killed so far? Well, we originally sealed the embodiment of dark magic slash East magic, okay? Then in East 1 and 2 we defeated the dark magic, and I believe ultimately shattered the dark crystal that housed the energy, but by doing that it removed all magic from East, so that world is no longer both blessed and cursed by magic. Obviously I've never played 4, East 4, East 5, because I believe they were Japanese exclusives and I don't think they've been remade yet. Could be wrong. East 6 is Felghana, which I'm not going to talk about till we get there. East 7 changes up the way the game plays entirely. Kind of, you know how I have the wind magic, this yellow charge magic, and red fire magic. Well, in East Felghana, they kind of, instead of giving you like bracelets that have that magic, they put it directly onto your weapon, and the weapons do some amount of like what I will call like piercing, like a rapier damage, regular sword damage, like I'm doing right now with the wind, and then some sort of like heavy, I don't even know how to explain it. It's kind of like heavy claymore, where your attacks are slower but stronger. So they come out much slower, but they're, like I said, much stronger. And in the following East games after that, East 7, I don't know if they've changed it since, but East 7 up, they give you 3 characters that you can switch between, where Adol plays as sort of a sword, basic sword character, and then you have a piercing character that's usually, you know, one of the first people you meet is the piercing character, whether they wield a rapier or a bow and arrow or something piercing related. And then there's usually some sort of heavy melee character that wields either like Dogi, where he wields his fists, or he wields a hammer, or something that does more like heavy blunt, slow, heavy blunt damage. And you switch between these 3 characters, which are essentially playable, and the way that the game does the AI when you're not playing as that particular character is when that NPC starts to get low on health, it starts to evade, do a lot more evading, so it'll essentially get down to like 1 health and never die. Which is kind of nice, but you know, once they get down to 1 health, you're kind of fucked, because there's no way you're switching to them, because as soon as the character you're controlling dies, you switch to one of the remaining characters that only have 1 health, and it's like, well, I guess I'm dead, because you're usually in the middle of a battle. 640 Ravel, that's good enough for one power-up. 1 of 6 power-ups, I will remind you, because each one will go up to level 2. I always thought it would be kind of an interesting thing. Maybe you certainly can disagree with this, because what I'm essentially saying is taking a higher level difficulty and making it in some ways easier. But I always thought it'd be interesting that, you know, at the lower level difficulties, your weapon either you know, maybe say a low, like an easy or very easy. When you get the weapon, it's fully powered up or maxed out. And when you play on the higher difficulties, you have to level up your sword and armor one time. And then when you get to the highest difficulty, say like Inferno, it can be upgraded, you know, 2 or 3 times. But in each case, it makes your weapon a little stronger than it was previously. So on an easier difficulty, yeah, you don't need the power-up sword because they don't have as much HP and you're doing a ton of damage as it is. Meanwhile, on a higher difficulty, you're grinding more because it's taking you longer to get through the game. So you're more likely to have more money, more Ravelor to spend on upgrades. But then those upgrades will push Adolf further in terms of his armor and attack than you would in a basic, you know, easy playthrough. Because there's thousands more HP and these guys have more defense or whatever. So you're sort of leveling the playing field, but you're still leaving the difficulty sort of to the point that, like, hey, you don't have to grind out all this rabble, but if you do, we're gonna make it worth your while. You know, make the harder modes a little easier. Though, if you're trying to speedrun it, ultimately you're gonna want to just use the weapon kind of as is, I guess, or without any sort of major buff. Because I know there's an achievement in this game to beat it in 5 hours, and I think I mentioned this on a previous playthrough, like, how the fuck do you do this in 5 hours? Other than skip all the dialogue and basically, like, speedrun a very easy playthrough. Either that or just get really ungodly good at the bosses, because the thing about it is if you don't grind, there's a good chance you're not doing enough damage to them. But if you are grinding, you're wasting time and you're eating into that 5-hour window. Weed. Here comes the silver charms. Here comes the silver charm. Silver chimes, I'm sorry. It's kind of weird because the silver chimes are in the first 2 games. And you're like, well, why the fuck are they in this game? And why do they sort of do exactly what they did in each one? I don't know. Don't think about it. So if you're looking to level up in this final area, this is like a really great area to do it in. Because these guys do a fair amount of damage, but they don't do enough that you can't keep up with the amount of, you know, you're not healing for the same amount of damage that they're doing. It is kind of a bit of a pain to probably walk out of screen, walk back on screen. But if this would have like a screen break on it, this would be like the most ideal place to level up, at least in the next level or 2, I guess I should say. At least till you get to like, what, level 40 or whatever. I don't even know what I'm at. Let's just say I'm at level 40 right now. Or like get to level 44 or something. Because after that you just get diminishing returns, because, you know, the game's giving you less experience for each guy you kill, but at the same time they're asking you to have just as much, or if not more, experience as you did the last time. So it's like, okay, so each level up, say, is 1,000 XP. But when I say that, but at the same time, you run into a situation where, like, okay, so to get to level 60, I need to be at 60,000 XP, which, or, yeah, experience points, which is not true, because each time you level up, it's a little bit more experience points you have to collect. But yeah, each time you level up, you're getting half as much experience, so 100 experience, say, to 50 experience, 25 experience, to 12 experience, to 6, to 3 to 1, you know? But you still gotta go 1,000. So it's like, okay, you reach a certain point where you're at end of the game, you've reached, say, level 50 out of 60, and now all of a sudden you're fighting these guys, and you need to get, you know, 10, 20, 30,000 experience points. but each guy's only giving you 1 experience point. And just like, sort of like, okay, do I really need to grind out, you know, say 40 to 100,000 experience just so I can get those last 10 levels that are impossible to grind out for because each one of these guys is only giving me 1 experience? I don't know. My one major complaint, I suppose. If you ever see me stop, that's because I am healing. I need to heal, otherwise I die and go back and I have to do this all over again. That's what I'm doing right now. Making sure that I do not die. Being extra super careful. In the wind. So the question was, can he damage me after he's dead? The answer is yes. So long as it's a projectile of some sort. It appears that he is able to damage me no matter what. So yep, another heal. This is going to become more and more frequent unless I level up again. Start doing lots of damage with taking minimal damage. And just sort of hang tight. We'll be done here in a sec. I am not a big fan of guys that have big fire rings around them that I have to beat up in Klonoa, i.e. and in this game as well. Not allowed to have circling fiery things around you. Those don't work for me, they shouldn't work for you. By me, I mean, I know that certain games allow you to have some sort of like AoE ring of fire thing. But at the same time, like, yeah. How much is that ring of fire really doing to the enemy? Like 1-2 damage every time it hits them? Whereas this is probably doing what, like 10 damage plus to me? Every time I get hit. This is always fun and horse shitty. About, you know, the way video games are set up. Like, oh hey, we know that the enemies are very strong. We might give you one of those enemies later, but they're gonna be like horribly, horribly weak. Like, hey, do you remember when you fought, I don't know, I'm trying to think of somebody, Final Fantasy or non-Final Fantasy related. It's like, oh yeah, remember when you fought Cecil? Boy, was he fucking strong as hell. I didn't think I was ever gonna get out of that battle. Oh, what? He changed sides, now he's on your team? What do you mean he went from having, you know, 500,000 health to only having 8,000? What do you mean he's no longer doing 5,000 damage per hit? He's only doing 2,000-3,000 because you're getting the boss, you know, essentially the boss pack going. He's an unplayable character, so you're gonna have to tax him. So fuck you, you know. Also, speaking of fuck you, this guy is big and strong and makes him feel like a little wiener. He's like, I have no power whatsoever. Did a crit, you leveled up once again, and preventing yourself from dying, at least for a minute. So I take like 300 damage to die. Sorry, motherfucker, you walked in the wrong neighborhood. It's generally how that feels whenever you're playing these games, and you get into a section where like all of a sudden all of your sword attacks went clink, 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 1 damage, 1 damage, 1 damage. Meanwhile, they're like, okay, that'll be half your health or 90% of your health on this one hit. Yes, hello, I'm a stubborn dick. We're going to attempt to get this because I'm a stubborn dick. The way I am. Sorry to say. What we're doing. Oh, nifty. Found nifty. Rubeans. Get knocked back, take a lot of damage, get knocked back, take a lot of damage. More Ravel? No. Topaz. One of the remaining gems This is the last gem I need. Either the last gem or next last gem I need. Game tends to give you a lot of, some gems early on, I guess, bracelets early on, and then it's like, you want to be fully powered up? Well, too bad, you gotta wait for the last area. Big damage. Damn. There's two types of flowering plants out there. There are the ones that attract the bees, and there are the ones that repel the bees, or the bugs for that matter. And, yeah. Run away! Let's do it. Banana. Let's go. Keep going, Adol. I know we gotta heal up, but we need to keep going, buddy. And, big gravel ore. 2. Only got a little bit more to go before we reach the next save point and basically finish off this episode, finish off the game, quote unquote. Another big Revelor. Don't digress, you're almost there. A little bit more healing, we'll be almost done. Got all the gems. So we got everything except for one piece of probably unnecessary trinket or whatever, power up. Alright, this should be the save area, so yo, save spot! Hooray! Alright, I'm gonna cut the episode here. When we come back, all of my armor is going to be leveled up, and yeah, I'm gonna be a couple levels higher as well, I'm sure. So till then, hope you guys have a good one.